night.
Time for your weekly dose of pop culture
With Kathy and Kenny. Welcome to the show.
Welcome. It is Saturday night once again. Time for another episode of Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture. Thank you so much for joining us this Saturday night, as we do every Saturday night since quarantine for almost a year now. We have been, well, actually, we didn't start this at the start of quarantine. It was a little later over the summer, but we've been coming to you every Saturday night to just I don't know, just hang out and take some of the what is it? Some of the pain of
Yeah,
of
yeah.
being.
We have I have a note for
Oh, I'm
you over
sorry.
there.
I'm Kathy, and
And I'm Kenny, and we are Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture. Kathy, I put a private chat note in there for you.
okay, I
Um,
saw that. I'm trying to
okay,
send it.
and
I'm
I didn't
sending
know
the
if you saw
link
that. I know I
again.
shouldn't say that behind the scenes thing that we do, but yeah. So we're going to talk about a few things tonight, a few pop culture things that happened this week in the pop culture. Hey, Lisa, how you doing? In the pop culture realm of things.
You want to
So
say hi, Lisa? Our cousin is
hi, Lisa.
watching.
And Letta, our guest from last week. Letta is watching this week. So yeah, hi everybody. Thank you for joining us today. Um, Also, what we're doing here is today we're going to be talking about Cloris Leachman, who passed away, a very fine, a great actress. We're also going to be talking about the great legendary Cecily Tyson, Tyson. And we also have a special guest coming in as soon as we can get that hooked up. We have our old friend Rico coming in to talk to us and give us some Super Bowl updates on next week's Super Bowl. So we have a
Well, you
great
know what?
show lined
Before
up.
before we start, can I take oh no, I don't have it queued up. I thought I had it queued up. All right. I gotta let me go. I gotta get my thing together. That's okay. Go ahead. You go on what you go on. I'm sorry.
Well, I was okay.
I'm
It's
like
gonna it's
I'm
gonna
spazzy
it's
tonight, so don't
it's
go
gonna
by
it's gonna
me.
be
Don't go by
it's
anything I
gonna
say.
it's gonna be it's gonna be that type of show tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
That's why I called it random thoughts, because we knew we had two icons of movie as well as television who passed away. Also, a legendary basketball coach, and we're going to talk about John Chaney a little bit later as well, who passed away. But before we get to all that, I just wanted to take a moment of personal privilege and send I saw this on my Facebook feed and it just made me smile. My old Brooklyn roommates, but I just wanted to send a happy birthday shout out to my former roommate Donna, and I know she was watching and with us last week, but today is her actual birthday. So yeah, I'm just going to take a minute out of the stream and say happy birthday,
Happy
Donna.
birthday, Donna.
I hope you don't mind that I just hijacked the stream. And I think this was Jerry's, Teresa and Jerry in that picture as well.
Yeah.
I think it was his might have been his 50th birthday. I can't remember. And I'm so old, I wouldn't remember.
That
But
like
the
yeah,
band got
you
back
froze up.
together again.
So
Oh,
that was like
Dawn is
what?
with us today. Hey, Dawn from the Income Stream, our friends from the Income Stream.
Hey, Dawn.
Dawn is with us
Hi, how you
tonight.
doing?
Hi, wishing you well and just
You know,
popping by to say
I
hi. We
really want
appreciate you.
to.
Thank you.
I really want to. I appreciate you coming by, Dawn. I really would love to, because we listen to the Income Stream every day, and I really would love some of the people on the Income Stream. I really would love to check out their podcast more, and I never get a chance to. But I'm gonna make a natural point of that.
We got to get
Starting
some
this
income
week.
streamers to come by and be special guests on this show.
Yeah, we
So
do. We do. We
yeah,
definitely do.
well, the income stream too is coming to an end. Pat Flynn has been doing episodes every single day since quarantine began back in March, and he was going to end on day 365. He might do it like maybe weekly or I don't know, every so often. But he was gonna kind of wind the stream down. So I don't know, Kenny, what's your thought? Like once, everybody gets vaccines and life starts going on, are are you,
Yeah, we're
gonna
still gonna be
cut out
doing
on
the
me,
Kathy
or
and
are you
Kenny.
gonna keep the stream going?
We're gonna be doing Kathy and Kenny explain pop culture until the wheels fall off. That's what I'm saying. We're gonna keep going until the wheels fall off. That's what I'm
So we're
saying.
gonna be we're gonna be out here in these streets till the
We're
wheels
here for the
fall
door.
off.
We're here for the duration. We're here for the
Yeah.
duration. We're here for a
And
minute.
And if
I'm
you
looking
wanna join
down.
us and call in and talk about some of the things that we talk about pop culture last week, it was Android versus Apple. It's everything from movies to TV to music to games, all kinds of fun stuff on Kathy and Kenny Talk Pop Culture. And I think that's the result of kids born in the 60s, raised in the 70s. Um, just uh, what happened to us in the 80s? Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
Who
I'm having
knows?
trouble. I'm looking down so much because I'm having trouble sharing this on my page
Oh,
for
you're
some
having trouble
reason.
sharing the stream on your
Yeah,
page?
yeah. I'm having trouble
Okay.
sharing this.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you a minute. I'll let you figure all that out so that you're not looking down and I'm looking up at you. And again, thank you guys so much for kind of hanging out with us. And we were going to talk about football this week. But some of you might know if you follow my brother on his Facebook page, he is just so anti NFL ever since the whole kneeling thing happened. So I was like, I don't know enough about football. And I feel like even the knowledge I was getting, because I was part of what do you call it? A fantasy league. And when I was doing the fantasy league, I mean, I was rolling. And I mean, I got pretty close. I came second place one year in the league. Yes, I had help, but you know what? I was getting advisors. So, hey, you know what? I was making some good choices. I had a lot of Pittsburgh people on my team, but hey, that's what my advisors told me to do. But I felt like I didn't know enough about football to last for the whole hour. So with so much different things going on and the passing of different people, we were thinking about it and we were going to talk about it because as most of you know, back on, I guess it was Wednesday, was that the 27th?
Yeah,
That's when Cloris Leachman. Cloris Leachman passed away, and man, I guess I didn't realize just how many different things she had been in, or how many
yeah,
things that she'd done. Like again, as far as I knew, when it came to Phyllis, it was always. I mean, when it came to Cloris Leachman, it was always Phyllis, and
yeah,
she's just that neighbor from Mary Tyler Moore Show. Because again, we came of age in the 70s. So all of our references are the 70s. You realize that, don't you, Kenny?
yeah. I realize that. I want to shout out to Lenora Carr who's listening to us. Hey, Lenora, how you doing? Um, yeah. So Cloris Leachman was a very versatile character actor, comedian, very talented, very you know, after the fact, you hear a lot of when people pass away, you hear a lot of stories about them. And Cloris Leachman is one of those people you hear the good stories about, a lot of good stories about. Lisa just sent me a text. Yes, Lisa, I am feeling much better. But she's one of those people who uh, very versatile character actor. A very funny character, very vested in her parts, which she did. And all the stories you hear of her are nothing but good stories. Like she's not one of the people you hear about being a total jerk about things. So yeah, so Cloris Leachman, yes. We decided to have a chat about her and a few things. One of the movies that she was in that my son had told me to watch that I was hesitant to watch it, and everybody else think that this is a very funny, hilarious movie. I watched it and I was like, it's okay. Young
What movie
Frankenstein.
was that?
Young Frank. Young Frankenstein.
Young Frankenstein? You know what? I wasn't. I don't know whether I thought Young Frankenstein was. I mean, I guess it was okay, and you had to kind of be in the mindset for it.
Yeah,
But she
and
was
I
also
like
in a movie that we both loved. You know what movie I'm talking about? That's kind of in
History of the
that
World Part
vein,
One.
huh?
History of the World Part One.
History of the World Part One. I love that
Yeah,
movie.
yeah. That is the best movie ever. History of the World Part One is like one of the fun. You know what? I need to get that movie in my collection.
All right, you need to
History
get
of the
that
World
movie.
Part One.
But, I mean,
I
her
need to get that
career
movie in my
goes back. Like when you span her IMDb, and again, born in 1926, so she, I guess, started appearing on TV and films back in the 40s, like the mid 40s.
Yes.
So she was doing all those like Donna Reed shows and what was the other one? The Loretta Young show, and just,
Yeah.
I mean, going in the
Let's
way,
let's.
way back machine. But
I
I know
wasn't
the
able.
show she
Okay.
did that I love, which was one of my favorite sitcoms of all time.
Hmm.
Know what it is? The
Mary
Facts
Tyler
of
Moore.
Life. She was on The Facts of
Oh,
Life.
she was in. Oh, that's right. That's right.
When Miss Garrett first left The Facts of Life,
Hmm.
uh, she came in and she was there. Yes, see, okay, Letta knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Young
That's
Frankenstein
it.
and Facts of Life. I
She was in The
forgot she
Facts
was on.
of
I
Life.
think. I think that's the time at that point. That was like the late '80s.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, yes, she was in Sky High Letter.
Oh, she was in Sky High?
Yeah,
That
she
movie
was a nurse.
that was the movie
She
with the
was,
superhero,
yeah, the superhero kids in the school that was
yeah,
high
remember that
above,
movie.
and she was the nurse in Sky High.
Ah, okay.
Also, I was reading and they said she was in one of my other favorite movies, Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid, and I had to watch Butch Cassidy because I don't know where she was in Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid.
That's it, Letta. The Inquisition.
Yeah,
What a show,
what
the
a show! The
Inquisition.
Inquisition. Here we go.
The History of the World Part 1 is so
Hey, talk
cool.
about it. What do you say? I just came back from Order the Fae. Order the Fae was Order the Fae. What you ought to not do,
Oh,
but
not
you
do,
do
but you do it
anyway.
anyway. I'm sorry, we are off on a tangent.
Yeah. Talk about it.
Where you from?
Face it. Face it, you can't talk about anything.
Knight jumped
Where
the
you go?
queen. King jumped the queen. Okay. Oh wait, family show. Anyway,
Yeah.
hey,
Where you
where are
from?
you from?
Um,
Ethiopia.
Ethiopia. Yeah, yeah. What
What
part?
part?
125th Street.
Anyway, if you haven't seen History of the World Part One, you need to go see History of the
Yes.
World Part
It's
One.
Close
It's one
Leachman.
of my
Close
favorite
Leachman.
Mel Brooks movies.
Close
Oh, Ed
Leachman is
Brown
in
in the
the
house. Ed Brown in the
Close
house.
Leachman. All right, at Brown. Leachman
Speaking
was
of the
involved
folks
in another
in the house, the
spin-off
cool folks
show,
in the
A
house who
Career.
are sporting their T-shirt. But Ed Brown says Cloris Leachman was involved in another popular spinoff during her career. Yes, she was in Facts of Life. She did oh yeah, the Facts of Life was a spinoff of Different Strokes, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I know that. Okay. Beverly Ann. Oh wait. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, wait. But wait, it wasn't its own spinoff though. It was still a part of the Facts of Life,
It was still
right?
the Facts of Life. Yeah, yeah. She was
Yeah,
still part of
okay. I
Facts
was
of
gonna
Life.
say, I
Because
remember the whole store head over heels when they
Charlotte, yeah,
right, when they were kind of post
Charlotte,
high school. So when they had that store, because that's when George Clooney was actually on the Facts of Life back in those days.
I
Uh,
think Dana Delaney was part of that too, wasn't she?
who?
Dana Delaney?
She was on the Facts of Now remember early on the Facts of Life, they had a whole bunch of girls.
No,
Like
because Dana
like Molly
Delaney,
Ringwald was even in the Facts of Life, but then
yeah,
they
but
cut down to the main four.
Dana Delaney wrote a Twitter post about working with her, and I believe it was on the Facts of Life. I think
Okay.
Dana Delaney might have been on the Facts of Life in those later years because George Clooney was on there, and wasn't another actor on there, another child actor on there? No, no. That became
Um,
famous later.
not Leonardo DiCaprio. That was Growing
Well,
Pains.
he was on Growing Pains, yeah. Oh,
He
Growing
was
Pains,
Growing
that's the show I was
Pains.
trying to think of.
But
Yeah,
it seems like
that's the show.
it'll come to us, or if it doesn't
Yeah,
come to us,
yeah.
it'll be in the chat because you guys will know it before we know it.
Oh, was it
Definitely.
Brad? Was it Brad Pitt?
Brad Pitt was on the Facts of Life.
Was he?
Hmm.
I
Okay,
don't
you know
know.
what? We might have
Maybe,
to do.
could it be
You,
rain? Could it be snow? All depending on the weather.
okay. Actually, I just saw the weather here in North Carolina. We're supposed to be getting snow, believe it or not.
Yeah. Hey, Cheryl. Cheryl is watching also.
Georgia,
Um, but yeah, we're getting like 8 to 10 inches here in South
eight
Jersey.
to 10 inches. Seriously?
Yeah, yeah.
Do
So
you
you
have
guys on
your
the.
milk, bread, and eggs?
I'm not worried about that. Like it's gonna, it's we're gonna be able like after it snows, we're gonna be able to go somewhere the next day to get whatever we need to get. The
Well,
convenience
yeah.
stores in
But
walking
down
distance.
here, when they start saying snow, you go to the store, you cannot find milk, bread, or eggs. So
Oh,
evidently,
Ed
when it
says.
snows, you got to eat some French toast or something because you will
Ed
not find
says.
bread or eggs.
Ed says that Brad Pitt made an appearance on Growing Pains.
Oh, Brad Pitt was on. Oh, okay.
He made an
Oh, he
appearance. He made an
was on
appearance.
Growing Pains, probably not Facts of Life.
Yeah, yeah. Do you want
Although,
to?
you
Do you
know
want
what, Kenny, one day, one year, 1 week, we got to do, you know what show we have to do? And I
what?
don't know, you guys tell us in the comments. Maybe you don't even want to see the show. I think we need to do a spin-off show because there's so many cool shows that launched spin-offs. And like we were saying, Facts of Life was actually a spin-off from Different Strokes.
You
And
know what else? You know what else was a
All
spinoff?
in the Family was had several spin-offs, whether it was Maud, whether it was Archie's Place, or even the Jeffersons. So
Oh,
you
Good
know what?
Times. Good Times.
Good times. We have to do a spin-off show. So that look for that in the future, the spin-off show.
A spinoff show. That'd be nice.
But now, the one thing that was interesting in the research that you did with Cloris Leachman, which I didn't realize, is that she was in that uh, I guess close to that GOAT category because she had 8 primetime Emmys, an Academy Award, the British version of the Academy Awards, as well as a Golden Globe and an Emmy, a daytime Emmy. So she even did the soaps. So that's pretty cool stuff. What was the movie that Cloris Leachman was in when she was the mother of somebody's child? Ah, look, now I remember
Mm.
a movie called Lorenzo's
Wow,
Rain.
that's a good one. Is
Huh?
that the Last Picture Show?
Was she in the
Is that the
last
Last
picture?
Picture Show?
She was in
She
the
was in
last
the
picture.
Last Picture Show. She was in the Last
Um,
Picture Show. Yes.
okay, yeah, she was in the last picture show. But like I said, again, I think she was probably most iconic for playing Phyllis on the Mary Tyler Moore Show, and then subsequently that show led to a couple different spinoffs, Rhoda being one of them, Phyllis being another, as well as oh, what was the one show that was kind of oh, okay. All right. So I forget what the one show, gosh, that was a
The
spinoff
with
from the
Rhoda?
show.
From what?
Uh Ed Asner. What was the name of the show he did? Was it Lou Grant?
Yeah, he did Lou Grant. He did Lou Grant.
But that was it was the same character.
Yeah.
Mr. Grant was a spinoff. That was kind of like one of those unique spinoffs.
Oh, Ed,
Oh, what
Ed,
was a
Ed, and
Happy
wait,
Days
Ed.
spinoff? Oh, come on, Ed.
Oh, come on. That's Love
That's
American Style.
easy.
Come
We're not
on.
even going to say it because somebody's going to answer that in the chat. That's way too
Yeah.
easy. Come on
Yeah,
now.
yeah. Love American
Um,
Style
although,
turned to Happy Days, and then Laverne and Shirley spent off from that. Like, and then Joni and Chachi. Dude, come on, we're pop culture kids. Like, who do you think you're messing with amateurs?
well, you know what? And one of the things that makes doing this show so fun is that we have been blessed to have so many folks come on screen and join us. Last week, our cousin Letta, we've had Ed Brown, who is the whiz kid with all the answers in the comments, and coming back for his second appearance on the show with us here tonight. He was going to give us our Super Bowl update, but even before that, we'll have him come in and join in as we talk about some of what was going on this week and these icons we lost. Please welcome back to the show, Mr. Rico Santiago.
Rico,
What's up, guys? What's up? What's up? What's up?
What's up,
I'm telling you,
Rico?
man. What's up? History of the World Part 1 is my all-time favorite comedy movie ever.
Yes.
It's my favorite Mel Brooks movie. It's my favorite comedy movie. My favorite scene is the Last Supper scene, and Jesus is there, and he's like, nay, nay, so you say, one of you will betray me. And Mel Brooks, as the waiter, goes, Judas. And Judas goes, ah! Try the mulled wine. It's amazing. And leave us alone. And then he's like, Jesus, yes, what? Yes, what? Jesus, what? Huh? Yes, what? Oh my God. I mean, I honestly have probably seen that movie. I probably have seen that movie maybe 500 times in my life, seriously, because it just I went through a span where I watched the movie like 3 times a day for like a good few years. You know, it like that entire.
I thought I was bad with fame, but
no. I mean, I can recite that movie and scene word for word, like just act out.
Count the money.
Everybody's nuances, their stage direction. I know where they're going to look. It's just, I love that movie so much. It is, and when you were talking about it, it was like I was like, yeah, it's the best. Yeah. It's the best.
History of the World.
I love to do it. I just did it and I want to do it again. Everybody does it. Everybody does it. I love to do it. I just did it and I want to do it again.
I didn't, you know what? And I saw it when I was younger, and when it first came out, and I really wasn't allowed to see it. I really wasn't allowed to see it. So my parents were very strict when we watched. Right. So my aunt at the time, who was in her 20s, she'd be like, we're going to take you to go see this, you know? So I would go see it. She said, don't tell your mother. And I didn't realize I didn't realize until I was out of high school. I mean, I worked in restaurants pretty much, you know, on my entire life. And it wasn't until I was like almost towards the end of high school that I realized that the character Bernays was an actual sauce, like for real. And when Count the Money was arguing with Bernays, and they made it's a family show, so he makes a joke about, you know, somewhere, you know, for men, you know, whatever, and he says something to Count the Money, and Count the Money goes, don't get saucy with me, Bernays. I never got that joke, so I was about like 17, 18 years old, and when I did, God is my witness, when I did, I never laughed so hard in my life, and every time I thought about it, it just made me just crack up. So anytime I see something with Bernays sauce or Bernays bread, I just crack up.
You figure that movie.
Saucy with me, Bernays.
Yeah. Don't get saucy with me, Bernays.
Count the money, D-Monet.
Just a lot of silly and subtle jokes in
and do you guys
the World Part 1.
You guys realize at the end of the movie when he did the trailers for the next movie, Jews in Space, you're talking about spinoffs. Jews in Space eventually became Spaceballs.
Spaceballs, yes.
So it's eventually became Spaceballs. So it was really, and that with the producers, with the Hitler on Ice type of thing, that it morphed into the producers on Broadway and in the movies and everything else. So Mel Brooks is just an absolute genius. He's just a genius.
He is. He's still with us. He's still with us.
Thank God.
And Cloris Leachman. In that movie, she did the scene where she was in the French Revolution in History of the World Part 1. And she was the person getting together for the revolution. And then finally went to go hang the king. She's like, on behalf of France. And she was like, you know, so, So Cloris Leachman was a very talented actress.
Can you guys give me 1 hot second, please? Unfortunately, I have the 9-month-old I have to tend to. Just give me like 2 seconds, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, sure. 2 seconds. Okay, so while he's gone, I want to tell you, Cloris Leachman, award-wise, she won 8 Primetime Emmys, 1 Academy Award.
I listed them already, Kenny. Were you not listening? Huh?
Oh, you did
You
know
didn't
that?
hear me go through the whole list already?
No. What was
Okay.
I doing?
I don't know. Probably not paying attention or listening to me.
Did you tell him that she was inducted into the Television Hall of Fame?
No.
Okay. Well,
But
she was
there you go.
inducted into the Television Hall of Fame.
Okay. So moving on, because we also wanted to talk about the other actress who passed away. And
Yes.
again, they were within a day of each other. Cloris
Yes.
Leachman on Wednesday and uh, Cecily Tyson, who passed away on
Friday.
Thursday. And
That was
Cecily
Thursday or Friday?
Tyson was the GOAT.
Yes.
What couldn't
Yes,
she
she
do?
was.
And you
She
know what?
was.
And I'll go back and put the link in the description because I didn't put the link in the description. But there was I think it's, I don't know whether it's I don't know what the CBS morning show is called, the Good Morning Show, where Gail King recently interviewed Cecily Tyson, and
Yes. Because a book came out
if you
like 2 days
can,
before she
you
passed.
really need to go back and watch that interview, Gail King and Cecily Tyson. I would imagine, I believe it might have been one of her final interviews, but it's a really nice piece, and it's sad in a way to hear some of the stuff that she had to go through. Kind of, she was Me Too'd before there was, I guess, a word to the Me Too movement, but some of the stuff that she had to endure. Also,
Well,
just the
we
fact
got
that
to
she
think
wanted,
a black actress. Yeah.
but also the fact that she, I guess, married young, and again, the marriage didn't work out. So she was a single mother wanting to pursue this career, and even her own mother was like, "No, you probably need to get a real job." But again, she had such passion for performing, and I don't know, just such a energy. Like when she is on film, I think back and I remember, I mean, who does not remember where you were when you first saw Sounder, and just the emotion that it evoked, at least in me. Um, I don't know. I just, when
It will
actresses can take you
always.
to that place where you totally believe they are that character and can, pull emotions out of you where you're crying and you're getting that upset, then whew, and
It will
that's what
always
Cecily
be.
Tyson could do.
I will always remember the scene at the end of the autobiography of Miss Jane Pittman, with her taking a sip of water from the fountain. Like that
Mm.
scene was so powerful. Like autobiography of Miss Jane Pittman, this 100-year-old woman. She walks up to the colored fountain and she says, "What?" And in her head, she's like, "You know what? I'm going to take a sip from the other fountain." And she walks over, and the police just look at her, and she takes a sip from that fountain, and that's just a powerful scene in there alone. Last night, I was with a friend of mine who never seen the movie Help, and when the scene came up, I said, "Yeah, that's Cecily Tyson." She goes, "Wait a minute, isn't that Cecily Tyson?" I said, "Yes, that's Cecily Tyson right there in The Help." And her role in The Help was very. I don't know if you've ever seen The Help, but her
I
role in
have,
The
I
Help
have,
was
I have all
very.
kinds of issues with the help, but we won't go there right now. Go ahead, make
Yeah,
your point.
yeah. But her role. Okay, her role in
I'll
Help.
bow out for
Her
this
role in her.
section on the help.
Anyway, but no, her role. Wow. Okay. But her role, yeah, she just totally left me. Her role in The Help though was very like pivotal. Ed Brown says, all the awards she get. And I was going to get to all the awards. She got 3 Primetime Emmys, 4 Black Reel Awards, 1 Screen Actors Guild, 1 Tony, 1 Honorary Academy Award, and 1 Peabody Award. And she was inducted into the Television Hall of Fame, inducted into the Black Filmmakers Hall of Fame. She was inducted into the American Theater Hall of Fame, and she was also presented by President Obama with the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which is the highest honor that a civilian can be bestowed upon by the president.
Yeah, she also was, and again, when she passed, there was just all kinds of great posts and other artists and performers just kind of paying homage. And she was in
Yes.
Roots. She was Kunta Kinte's mama. But also, and I know, Kenny, you're not a Tyler Perry fan, so
Yeah.
but uh, thank you for that. But and again, in that Gail King interview, she called him one of her angels too, because when Tyler Perry found out like how little money she made in, for appearances in movies like Roots and Autobiography of Jane Pittman and Sounder, and just how little money that she made.
For
When he
classics.
put her in his pictures, he would not just double, not just triple, almost quadruple her asking price to make sure that, again, she was paid well what she uh, well with what she was worth, but
Yes.
again, as his way of honoring those who came before him. So I hear all your issues and complaints, but I am not going to fault him that, and also that he is
Yeah.
keeping actors of color working. So
Yeah.
there's that. Um, so, but again, to not just go on and make movies and make content, but also kind of paying homage and giving respect to your elders. And I know because Maya Angelou was in a couple of his movies as well, but Cecily Tyson
Yeah.
was well. And I think
Special Tyson,
last
yes.
week or a couple of weeks ago, we were actually talking about one of our movies. That was the one where you posted the quote from Bustin' Loose, which is a movie she did with Richard
Yes.
Pryor
She did
with the
Bustin' Loose,
kids
and she
in the
did with
bus.
Richard Pryor, which I love that. I love that movie. I don't gotta go to the bathroom. Rika, if you've never seen Bustin' Loose with Richard Pryor
I've seen
and
Busted
Cecily
Loose
Tyson,
like a long. I mean, it's been
yeah,
it's been well over like 30
it's
years since I've seen the
it's
movie.
it's
So
not the it's not the best movie for either of them, but it's a
right,
nice. It's got moments that are
right.
very, it's got moments in it, like the
But that was
moment
like a
where he's
really
walking.
good. That was a really good era for comedy movies, just in general. I mean,
Yeah,
because you had
yeah.
Richard Pryor and you had
Cecily Tyson.
Steve, you had Gene Wilder, you had Steve Martin, like all those creative Mel Brooks, all those
Yeah,
creative people in that era were just making comedy movie hit after hit after hit after hit that still holds up to this day.
Yes.
I need to rewatch. I need to rewatch Stir Crazy because I'm watching bits of Stir Crazy, and the bits that I'm watching from Stir Crazy are more hilarious than I remember them being when I saw the movie at first when I was a kid. So I think I need to rewatch Stir Crazy, the whole movie, because I think because the bits I'm watching are just hilarious. Like, and you would think, and not to talk about something other than Cecily Tyson, but you would think that Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder were very close, and they actually weren't.
Right.
But their chemistry on stage together was just the chemistry on camera together were actually like phenomenal. But you would think they were close friends. But Gene Wilder says, no, we actually weren't close. We actually weren't close at all. We didn't talk when, like, once he said cut, we just went our separate ways.
It
So,
happens. It happens.
yeah, it happens like that.
I,
And,
I, I
it's a
tell you
good
what though,
act.
my first introduction to Cecily Tyson was Roots as a kid. I remember seeing the autobiography of Jane Pittman later. I guess I was maybe about 14, 15 when I actually like sat down and saw it. And that fountain scene was always my favorite. Like, just was like, you do you. You know what I mean? It was like one of those really big. It was very left a very big impression on me, so to say. So yeah, but the contribution that she made to television and to movies, to film, and to live theater, on top of everything else, I mean, it's just a testament. And I'm also not a huge Tyler Perry fan, but I can't fault him for doing what he was like. I got to give him mad respect for that. And it's a
Yeah,
paying it forward, and it's paying your dues. Like, you paved the way for people like me, and I'm paying you back. And God bless him for doing that, because not many people do that, and that's a thing that's lacking
yeah,
now. So it's
yeah,
definitely
yeah,
recognizing uh, who the Trailblazers were. at the time.
Yes.
So
yeah,
it's a beautiful thing. And what I would love for this to happen is to never have to recognize a trailblazer because of the color of her skin, or it's
yes,
just like you're just not. I would correct people on social media when they're like, she was, black actress, this and that, coming from someone who wasn't black, and I was, why does it matter? Like then that's when I would come in and be like, she could just be an actress, She,
Right.
it's it's one of those things, and for her to be paid as well as many others to be paid less than what they were worth,
yes.
is astonishing. And these are things about Hollywood that people just don't think about or like just brush under the rug. Like it was like, we all Hollywood stars, you're making movies that are nominated for Oscars and you're being nominated for awards and you're getting paid less than an extra with 3 lines type of thing.
Yeah.
It's a damn shame.
Yeah. Well, and
Well,
again,
it's just
I
like
mean, the
Kathy said also
inequity.
too.
Go ahead, Kenny.
No, it's like Kathy said also too. She had to deal with some Me Too moments before there was a Me Too
Absolutely. Yeah.
movement.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because she was a black actress, she didn't really have a voice to say in the 70s and 60s and 80s. She had a voice to say, like, this is what I'm dealing with. As, a lot of white actresses that came out with the Me Too movement in 2018, 19, and then started the whole thing. So she didn't have that back then, but she was still able to put out good product, good movies, and give out these excellent performances on stage and on screen and on television.
But and again, it's the one thing you guys are both talking about when you talk about some of the inequities, and there's inequities along racial lines. There's also the inequities along gender lines, because even now there are women who do incredible work on film and in television who aren't getting paid as much as their male counterparts. And can you imagine to have kind of like the double whammy of being a minority and being a woman, and
Yes.
again, um, b- being able to pull off these roles and these performances that, like I said, usually when actors can move you to the place where you're feeling some kind of emotion because they have just embodied and embraced a character to that degree. And I do want to point out too that I remember again, because it was in the 70s and I was so much younger, and we watch, and everybody has, well, not everybody, but for the folks who have seen the autobiography of Miss Jane Pittman, you were struck by that water fountain scene, and because of the makeup and everything else, and we had this 100-year-old woman going to, yeah, but okay, let's be real. The people in Hollywood, obviously the makeup people, please, had to be some white folks, because Lord knows, we all know that black don't crack. So even at the time of her passing, Cicely Tyson was looking
She
a
was
lot
co-starring.
better than they had her
Yeah.
looking as
Yeah.
Miss Jane Pittman.
Well, I want to say
Well,
technology and everything has gotten better as the years have gone on, and that includes makeup.
well,
Yeah, the makeup artists have come a
in
long
all
way.
honesty, in all honesty, the autobiography of Miss Jane Pittman, that character had a harder life because that character was a slave and did have harder times. So black doesn't crack, but I guess what they were trying to portray was the fact that I'm trying to justify it. It's just not even. It's just not even sounding right to me. That doesn't sound right to me. You're right. I don't. They had her. They had her look like an old white person, and she was really like, yeah. Okay, I'm good. I'm good. I'm mine. Never mind.
Oh man.
I'm just gonna take it. I want to take another sip of my drink. I'm good. I'm
Oh
not.
Yeah,
jeez.
you take another sip.
Take 2 more
While you
sips.
do that, I'm going to take a minute just to say once again, thank you guys for hanging out and watching us here on Facebook. You can also catch us on my channel on YouTube. By the way, you can even, and it's again, Kathy and Kenny explain pop culture. Check out all the stuff Kenny is doing on his website. You can see it down there below. KennyKPWalkerJr.com, spoken word artist, and he's working on a lot of cool things, as well as his podcast that he does on Sunday nights. But again, you're here with us, so hashtag Pop Culture Kid, and you can check out the link in the description and get your pop culture. Ooh, look at this. Let me move my hair. Your Pop Culture Kid shirt and information. The white shirts, I think you can get them on Teespring. If you want one of the black shirts, please just send me a direct message either on Facebook or on Instagram, K-Walk Comedy. You can find me there. And you too can be a pop culture kid. By the way, if you are tuning in, hey, please consider giving us a like if you're checking us out on Facebook, or a thumbs up on YouTube, or consider subscribing. But again, thanks so much for hanging out. All right, commercial's over.
This is the shirt in white.
I had mine on. I had my Pop Culture Kid T-shirt on, ready for tonight, and then I was making dinner, and I was making rice and beans splattered all over it, so I had to change my shirt and put my Star Wars shirt on instead. So I apologize. We could have had Kenny an Oreo, black on each corner.
Yeah, black,
yeah. We're like a real life Oreo, black on the end.
My mom put a very true comment in there. She's very selective in the roles that she took. She didn't want to make. She didn't want to. She wanted to represent black people in film the way she thought they should be represented in a positive light. So she was very selective. She wouldn't just take any role just to make money and take a role. And that is what made her great. And that she was more selective with the roles, and the roles she took, like the autobiography of Miss Jane Pittman, like Roots, like other roles.
Yeah, I know she was in Fried Green Tomatoes. And I think, and again, I've
never seen that movie.
Okay, she was in that movie. It was a smaller role. I think it was a bigger role within the novel. So I don't know what wound up on the cutting room floor, but that was one of the movies.
I've never seen Fried Green Tomatoes.
That she was in.
Never seen Fried Green Tomatoes.
Was so much better, but but I've read all those Fannie Flagg books, and I love them, but that's just me. But okay.
I think I saw it once. I
hope you're writing these down. We got to do the spinoff show, and also we have to do a book to film show, because, again, for some of those books that they create,
I am Kathy.
The books are always better. The only case where the book wasn't better, or not that the book wasn't better, but The Color Purple. For some reason, I struggled reading that book. And again, it was just the way it was written in the vernacular. I could not wrap my head around the rhythm of it, the way Alice Walker, the relation, would write.
Yeah, but
until I saw the movie, and once I saw the movie, it was a lot easier to read the book.
But Kathy, anyway. I am even in our 50s, I'm still the irresponsible little brother. So I'm not writing these down. You're going to have to remember this.
Rico, I'm on my own here. Okay.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you.
All right.
Write it down.
We put tonight's topic as random thoughts because we were just kind of reflecting on what happened this week and losing those icons. And as I mentioned before, because I had my bobblehead and I wanted to bring my bobblehead out. My brother said it looked kind of scary, but it's a John Chaney bobblehead. And again, the passing of Coach John Chaney, which to most people watching, they're like, who? But again, because we're from Philadelphia, because
legend.
Philadelphia freedom.
Right. So we know all about John Chaney, the basketball coach, and and also we have the bobblehead, and even at dinner, my dad was just telling the story of I guess I don't know was it pickled okra. There was something that he would get down here in North Carolina, and actually would buy it for Coach Cheney because, again, another good family friend, Mr. Ellaby, was at one time one of the assistant coaches over at Temple University. So we kind of had a connection to him, via
John Cheney,
that
yes.
good family friend. But again, local sports legend and Philadelphia, at least a Philadelphia area sports Hall of Fame member, and just coaching legend. Went on to coach several NBA players, John Cheney. So we wanted to also acknowledge that passing as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
and
John
speaking
Cheney
of
was
sports,
what happened?
okay, go ahead,
Oh
Rico.
no, I used to take John Cheney's basketball camp
Oh
for
wow!
years as a
Oh
kid,
wow,
and it's because of John Cheney that made me that. Even though I never went to Temple, Temple was my number one favorite basketball team in college. And I'm always like a Temple Owls like basketball like fiend. Like and I was so into them growing up that it was like Coach Cheney was a big deal. And for several summers I would go to his basketball camp and talk to the kids and everything else. And you meet some of the college players. As a kid, you're just like, oh my god, I see this guy on TV and everything. And he always, and he was awesome. And he would keep it real with you too. He would keep it real with you how real life is. And
yeah,
the one thing that I always knew Coach Cheney just from going to his camp, so I can imagine any one of his players or people that work with him could attest to this. He was more concerned about you graduating with a degree than playing basketball. Like it was like his
right,
mission to make sure that you graduated for degree, especially for black men. Like he was very big
yeah,
on that to go out and get
Wow.
your degree.
and,
And I know when he spoke to us at camps, he always emphasized how important it was to continue with your studies, especially for people of color, people that lived in the inner city, because he would always say, he had that raspy voice, and he always had the handkerchief to wipe his eyes, to wipe his eye and everything. And he was like, because they don't expect you to succeed. They don't expect, and don't blame everybody else. Do something for yourself, And it was just that old school kind of mentality you just don't see anymore. And he's definitely going to be missed. An
right.
absolute icon and legend in this area. Absolutely.
Were you, were you familiar with Coach Ellerby?
What's that?
Were you familiar with Coach Ellerby?
Not too much. I went when I was like younger.
Okay, all right. Um, and speaking of sports, also, Rico, you're
Yes, sir.
here because Kathy and I are not great football fans, and we need to talk about what's coming up next week.
Big Super
I
Bowl
probably should have a
Sunday.
sound effect here. Da-da-da-da-da. But
Dun-dun-dun-dun,
it's probably
dun-dun-dun.
copyrighted.
Super Bowl Sunday next
Hearing
week.
fans or something. I don't know.
Kansas City Chiefs versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Kansas City is favored by 3.5 points. The over-under is 57.5, I believe, as of now through Vegas. So the over-under basically means if you play the over, you're expecting both teams to score over 57.5 points. If you bet the under, the total combined scores would be less than 57.5 points. Either way, I didn't bet on it because I'm not making money. Yeah, it's basically what many consider the GOAT in Tom Brady, the greatest of all time, up in his 10th Super Bowl against Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City Chief, who
Who
by
was with
consensus is looking at as the new future GOAT of NFL football quarterback, because he's freaking phenomenal, and he's already won a Super Bowl last year. So this is their
so it's
second try.
GOAT versus the kid.
Basically, yeah. Basically, it's like Jordan versus
You
LeBron.
see what I did there? Okay.
It's like a Jordan versus LeBron, even though we all know that Jordan was the greatest basketball player of all time.
But see, I was doing like the baby goat. Is it called the
this is
kid?
like
I
Aaron Rodgers.
gotta explain the joke. And I'm sorry. I wanted
No,
to
yeah, I know
just shout out and say
that's not no.
hey to Hey Archer.
Hey Arthur,
Hey Archer.
hey
Check out
Archer,
his
how you
show
doing,
Thursday
man? Thanks
night
for
is
passing through,
pretty
man.
awesome for the the nerd elite in all of us. So
none of you watch
Yes.
football, Super Bowl, or do you like?
you know what?
Yes.
And
Yes.
again, I think when it's teams, I kind of have I care about, like if it's the Eagles I'm watching, or
Right.
even the Panthers, since I'm down here in North Carolina. But if it's not, I'm like, nah, I don't. And even when I got to be honest, even when it came to the Super Bowl, I was more into the commercials. I mean,
You know what? For the most part, most Super Bowls, I just watch. I mean, I love football, so I'll watch the game anyway. But sometimes when the game's just out of hand and it's just boring, you look forward to the commercials.
right.
So that's that's a huge thing with me. I will say my wife is not really a football fan. She'll sit and watch an Eagles game with me every now and then, but usually when the Eagles are on, she leaves the house. She says she just can't handle me, so she just leaves.
So it's not so much watching the game, but it's your reaction to the game.
Pretty much,
Aha.
especially last
So it
season.
sounds like you're one of those.
Especially like this past season. So it's just really bad. But when the Super Bowl's on, she's all about going to the Super Bowl parties, which we're not having obviously this year. But she's all about Super Bowl parties because she likes the socializing. She just
Now,
watches for the
are people
commercials.
doing Super Bowl Zoom parties?
I don't know. I know with Super Bowl football games, my brother and I, we text each other like all through the games, like we're watching it together. Because more often than not, we are watching it together. But I would assume people would be having some type of Zoom video,
Something.
FaceTime.
Well, my all-time Super Bowl kind of moment, like, well, again, when I do watch the Super Bowl, and if I am, at a party, it's mainly just the community of it, or a team I'm kind of interested in. But again, it's looking at those commercials, which now you can see them before the game even starts. But I remember one year, and I think my parents went to a party, and I was here by myself watching the game. But that was the Janet Jackson year, and it was Justin Timberlake, and I'm sitting home alone, and nobody believes me, but I knew the song he was singing, and in my mind I said, oh, watch, he's going to kind of like rip off her shirt, or rip off something, because in the song it says, I'm going to have you naked by the end of this song. Right. So I knew that was coming. I mean, I guess we didn't know, again, I'm thinking a sports bra or something will be under there, but anyway.
And how many kids?
I knew they were going to do that. And I felt like I knew that was happening. And
how many kids were traumatized? I had to
shout it to nobody because nobody was around.
And how many kids were traumatized because they saw that? Okay. I was like, okay. My kids are fine. My kids are fine.
The disappointment for me was I thought the disappointment for me is that the first time would see Janet Jackson's nipple, we would be alone for that.
You and everybody else. I tell you.
That's what I thought.
Usually, and even now, like the halftime shows, I don't know whether
we can get it. I can get it.
And I don't even know now if the halftime shows are as I don't know. I think they're always trying to like top, I don't know whether it's even worth it. Like sometimes it's like, and I don't even know who's the halftime show performer this year.
The Weekend is going to be the halftime show.
The Weekend.
Okay.
The Weekend.
So, and a boy can sing, so I give him that. Initially, it was going to be they asked Cardi B, and Cardi B turned it down and said no because of the whole Colin Kaepernick and the kneeling. So she's like no, she turned it down.
That's why I watch NFL. That's why I NFL, because of the whole Kaepernick thing.
I tried.
Okay.
So
I'm not going to lie. I tried. I can't. I
stuck with it. Even when before the Kaepernick thing, I was a huge Eagles fan. I had Eagles underwear. I had Eagles pajamas. I had Eagles socks. I had Eagles slippers. I had Eagles hats. I had Eagles coats. I had Eagles everything.
Bye, Dawn. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Thanks, Dawn. Thanks for hanging out. When there was the Kaepernick thing, I had to stick to my guns and I had to ban football from my life. So I stuck to my guns with it. It hasn't been an easy stick. And I was going to start doing college football just to get my football in, but then quarantine and it's just so
I don't know. I can't get as worked up about the
and
college team. But hey, if you still want some football in your life, you
yeah,
can
I
go
really
with the
can't.
real football, not the American football. You can always go to soccer.
With football.
Football. You bet.
Yeah, so
yeah, I'm good.
we're gonna
good.
So Super Bowl this year is going to be kind of weird because for the most part we shouldn't be having parties, ladies and gentlemen. We shouldn't be getting together.
No.
So it's going to be a little odd. But I already said I was with my wife at Costco a few weeks ago, and I'm pointing at all the little hors d'oeuvres all over the place. And I'm going, that's for the Super Bowl. That's for the Super Bowl. That's for the Super Bowl. And then she's like, who's coming over? I was like, no, it's just us. She says, we are not going to get all that damn food. But it's going to be weird.
Tell
it. It's hard to get just a little bit of food at Costco. When you go to Costco, it's like...
Oh, yeah.
It's like, I don't want to shop for 80 people, but I must.
What's up?
You don't wear the pants in there? You don't put your foot down?
Come on, man! I don't do that. This ain't 1950.
And again, Rico, I don't think you want to take advice on marriage from the divorce guy. Just saying.
Well, I'm on number 2.
I am divorced.
This is my number 2, and
I am divorced.
This is my second and last.
Yeah, I don't understand why you did it again, but hey, I'm just saying, put your foot down.
My wife's hot, man. What do you? I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I have met his wife in person. She is hot, and I get why he's acting whipped. So I understand. I'm not mad at it at all. I'm not mad at him at all.
But you know what?
Bye, Dawn.
Sitting college football is fun. I follow college football avidly. So I'm really. I just love football. Like that's just my favorite sport.
It's weird because I think down here in North Carolina or I think just in the South in general, because they didn't have, like I think in the North and Midwest and other parts of the country where they actually have major league teams. And for the longest time, the Carolinas didn't have a team. And even now, I guess North and South Carolina have to share the Panthers. There was a bigger, I think, there's probably more loyalty to college teams down here. I find more people are rooting one way or another for a college team than they are for the NFL teams, only because for so long they didn't have they're either all for like Atlanta or all for Cowboys or Pittsburgh or something like that.
So what part of North Carolina do you live in? Do you live in Duke country or do you live in North Carolina country?
I guess it's here it's kind of split too.
Yeah.
Because even though it's split down the middle here too. So I've worked with folks who are like, they're either Devils or Tar Heels.
She's like 30 miles west of Charlotte.
That's ugly rivalry.
Gotcha.
She's like 30 miles west of Charlotte.
I can't even weigh in on that because that'll get you. Yeah,
she's not even. She's not in the Outer Banks. She's not in the Outer Banks at all.
I got you.
And I was thinking about the other football league, stadium football.
Oh,
but you would think that would
like the indoor football league.
That's not even. Even when you watch that, it's just like I don't know.
I mean, it's sometimes.
When is that even on TV?
Sometimes it's good.
When is that even on TV? Like, I might start watching that with the next year. Like, when is that even on TV? Like, when do you even watch that? Like, what are the team names?
I watch Canadian Football League when it's on. It's the closest thing to the NFL that you're going to get, but it's kind of like a crossbreed between NFL and college. An end zone in the NFL is 10 yards long. In the CFL, Canadian Football League, it's 20 yards. So some rules, like in NFL, you can't have a receiver or you can't have somebody running towards the line of scrimmage before you snap the ball for the play. But in the CFL, you can. So it's pretty cool. Like, it's just some of the rules are different, but you'll see a lot of players that used to play the NFL.
Wait. Isn't that offsides call?
Not in the CFL. As long as the ball snaps.
They don't get a lot of offsides call?
Yeah, they do, but as long as the ball is snapped before they reach the line of scrimmage, and they're going forward. That's a rule in the CFL. And instead of the Super Bowl, they have the Grey Cup. And Warren Moon, who was a black quarterback Hall of Fame for the Houston Oilers back in the day, was in the CFL as well. It was like hitting records and one of the greatest quarterbacks in the CFL history.
So now, before we go, because we did invite you to kind of give us that update on the Super Bowl, what will you make your prediction? Who do you think is going to take the what do they call the trophy? I don't know. Who do you think
the
is
Lombardi
going to
the
Lombardi?
Trophy.
That's right.
The Lombardi.
I was about to say Heisman, and I know that was wrong, but I just wanted the trophy. Who is going to be hoisting that up? Are they taking
Tom
that
Brady? It's kind of hard to bet against Tom Brady right now. He's in his 10th Super Bowl. He's already won 6. He's lost 3, 2 to the Giants and 1 to my Philadelphia Eagles. Go Birds, fly Eagles, fly. Yeah. But he's going for his 7th ring on his 10th try. It's hard to bet against him, but I am. I'm going to go 47. I'm going to go 47-23 Kansas City. I'm staying with the Philly connection. Andy Reid, head coach. I call Philadelphia Southwest.
Okay, so wait a minute now. You're saying 47
to 23. They cannot match up with Travis Kelce at tight end. They can't match up with Tyreek Hill on the outside. They can't match up with Hardman. They can't match Tampa Bay's defense is tight.
How about the pressure that they can put on a new kid?
Have you seen Patrick Mahomes play? My man throws behind his back. He throws. He doesn't even look any passes. Completes passes. The boy can run. The boy is like he's hot fire. He's hot fire. Like this dude is going to like so. And Tampa Bay's defense is in the top 10. Like they're a legit defense. So they're not. It's not like it's a pushover. But I think they're going to come out fast and they're going to come out strong. And it's going to be. Andy Reid's second Super Bowl.
47-23, Kansas City.
Andy Reid's third Super Bowl appearance.
I think as a coach, Andy Reid's probably going to pull some things out of his behind that you're not going to suspect him to.
Which he always does. That's his thing.
As a coach, that's what Andy Reid does. That's like the time when he was in the playoffs and Andy Reid did that kickoff, like an onside kick, he did something like weird that you would never do with the Eagles. He kept doing things like that all the time that would make the Eagles victorious. So,
right. So this is going to be Andy Reid's 3rd trip to the Super Bowl. He lost 1 with the Eagles. He won 1 with Kansas City. This is going to be his 3rd one, and I'm going to say he's going to win this one, and it's going to cement him as a first ballot Hall of Famer when he retires. So, start making his bust now in Canton, Ohio. Because that's where that man is going, with a cheeseburger in his hand, and the quick before you go, quick Andy Reid story. I was a kitchen manager over at Chili's in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, when Andy Reid first came to Philadelphia as a head coach. He came from Green Bay. He came into the restaurant. I used to double shifts at night as a waiter just to make some extra cash. I was waiting tables that night. I was in Station 5. I still remember where I was. I go over. It's a young Andy Reid with his wife. Andy Reid comes in, and I was like, oh, my Lord, it's the new coach of the Eagles. Now, anyone familiar with the South Jersey area, Morristown, Mount Laurel, a lot of Philadelphia sports figures live in that area. Voorhees, Morristown, Maple Shade, Marlton, Medford. Yes. They all live in that kind of like Cherry Hill, that kind of like area. So it's not uncommon for them. Donovan McNabb used to come in all the time. And he used to order a buffalo chicken ranch sandwich with seasoned fries. I know what so we knew these people, and we knew each other by first names and everything. So we would get them to sign a menu. We put the menu on the frame and hang it up in the lobby, in the waiting lobby. So Andy Reid comes in. He just got here maybe 2 weeks. I see him, and I'm like, oh my God, nobody's freaking out. I'm freaking out because I'm like the crazy Eagles fan. So I'm like waiting his table to take his order. He orders a cheeseburger and fries, like the whole thing. His wife gets a Caribbean chicken salad. I still remember this. Serve them everything. I come by the table after they're eating. Well, mid-meal, you guys doing okay? Anything get you anything? No. So I said, Coach, I'm glad you're here in Philly. Please bring us a Super Bowl. when you're done, if you don't mind, a lot of the athletes sign a menu for us, and we hang it on display. Whenever if you would like. And he looked at me straight up and said, "You see, I'm eating right now, right?" And I just was like, "Oh my God!" And then his wife was like, "Andrew," and then he looked. He's like, "Yeah, I'll sign. I'll sign whatever." And then I looked at it and went, "Never mind, I'm good." And then I just walked away. And I had someone else give them their check and everything else. So for the rest of his career in Philadelphia, even though I rooted for the Eagles, I rooted against him, just as an individual. It took the Eagles winning a Super Bowl for me to go, all right, man, I forgive you. We're good. You can win now. You can win now. So
wait.
True story.
Was it at least a decent tip?
True. Yeah, it was a 20%.
Was it a decent tip?
Yeah, it was 20% tip. So it was Doug Peterson came in
it?
too, because that's when he brought Doug Peterson as the quarterback, and Doug Peterson came in with his kids, and I talked to Doug. Doug signed the menu. Doug was the nicest guy you could ever meet. He was the absolute nicest guy you could ever meet. But that was I never could forgive him for that, because it hurt. He hurt my feelings.
Thus proving you never get a second chance to make a first impression.
No, but like now we're good. Now we're even. I'm rooting for him. I want him to win.
Right. He did bring us a Super Bowl.
I had the same kind of experience with Nichelle Nichols from Star Trek. I was like, you know what? Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, Felicia.
So yeah,
and everyone has that same reaction with Lou Ferrigno. So, we're good.
Oh yeah, he's a jerk.
I've never met anyone that likes him.
I'm gonna say that. Wow. Yeah, no, he's a jerk. I've met him before the Comic-Con. He's a jerk. Yeah. Yeah. We both go to Comic-Con.
Okay, welcome to the Let's Bash Celebrities portion of our show.
Yeah. Rico and I both go to Comic-Cons. I did get an attitude from Gil Gerard, old Buck Rogers, but I kind of deserved that attitude that he gave me, because I was talking to him and he was setting up his stuff, and I said, I was so excited to see you because nobody else I know ever heard of you. And I realized what I said, and he kind of gave me attitude, and I was like, wow. I should have said that.
Yeah.
But I was excited to meet Gil Gerard. Yeah, I put it the wrong way. I was too excited to meet.
Well, while you work on that, we want to work on thanking you, Rico, once again for another great appearance on the show.
Always,
always.
Love being on.
We appreciate you, and you are welcome around these parts anytime, because you always bring such great insight to the show.
Rico, if you have any show ideas, please hit me up or hit Cassie up with your show ideas, and we'll definitely get you on for your idea.
Dude, man, the MC Disney Plus is blowing up with the MCU.
I know we are still.
Dude, I wish I had somebody to talk MCU with me, because Cassie doesn't know all the MCU stuff, and like the WandaVision stuff is blowing up.
I have not watched WandaVision yet.
It's really good.
You have not watched WandaVision?
We probably need to do a WandaVision show, and I'll go and watch. Because we're only 3 or 4 episodes in?
Four. As of yesterday, 4.
But the fourth episode is what made a big difference to me, because I was about to cut it off until the 4th episode came.
I was all in from the first episode. I was all in.
Well, you know what, Kenny? We have all the shows lined up for February, so maybe we need to do a WandaVision show in March.
By March. Well, we probably would need to do an MCU show, a Disney Plus, because the Mandalorian, WandaVision, and they got other things coming in.
To watch all this stuff. That's why I need to.
You got to get on it. You got to get on it.
I work from home for the federal government, so I get a chance.
Well, I don't. I have half my kids.
That's your tax dollars at work.
The other 2 days, and the way we're going within the next 100 days, I'm probably going to have them all soon.
Oh,
so.
That is a thing. We need to do a lighthearted pandemic show, like a twist on the pandemic that's kind of lighthearted. We need to do a pandemic show, like things you've done during the pandemic, like Okay, Lisa, thank you for listening. Love you. Things you like gained weight during the pandemic. Do pandemic weight.
Bro, I'm looking at myself right now and I see this and I go, where did
I
this
was
come
to
from?
say, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't want to
Yeah,
have to talk about all my things. I don't like that idea.
well,
We'll work on it.
I'm good looking no matter how much weight I gain.
Okay. Anyway,
Yeah.
no.
Wait a minute. We go.
When you start talking crazy talk,
working out.
hey, we got to get out of
You're
here.
big on working out at one point. So
We get,
okay, we're getting out of here. Next week.
we're getting out of here. Once again, Rika, thank you so much for being on with us tonight. We appreciate you.
For hanging with us.
To have you.
Next week,
we also
week we're going to be
appreciate
talking
all
about
you guys. Go ahead, tell them about next week.
Oh, next week we're going to be talking about Black History Month. We're going to be talking about movies in Black History Month. Okay. Is that the topic?
So
Did I get that right?
going to be kind of Black history and film. So those movies that I guess kind of like Rosewood and different historical films,
yes.
Marshall, all those films we're going to be talking about a little bit to help us kick off Black History Month in February. Then we're going to we got a couple different topics lined up. We might change it around.
Yes.
Who knows?
We might change it. We
know.
switch it around. We don't know. I don't know. She doesn't know. She doesn't know. We don't know. Who knows? Could it be rain? Could it be snow? All depends on the weather.
Okay. Well, but what we do know is that we will be here 8:30 Eastern time Saturday night. We appreciate you for being here. If you have appreciated any of our conversation or enjoyed any of the pop culture we brought to you tonight, please consider subscribing to the channel so that you'll get and hit that bell notification. That way you'll find out all about when we are coming live to you on Saturday nights. Thank you so much. Have a great week. Stay safe out there. Remember, wear your mask, wash your hands, and stay 6 feet apart.
God bless your soul and keep living. Peace.
Thank you for geeking out with Kathy and Kenny on Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture.